Happy Halloween, and welcome to this Halloween special of the Iron Phantom's Black Book. I am your host, the Iron Phantom, and I am here to tell you two terrifying tales this time. Because it is Halloween and it's a special occasion, I thought I would give you the double feature. So, be sure to sit back, relax, and have the lights on as I begin to tell you these tales. Our first story is called Trick and Treat, and what will happen if you do not respect the rules of Halloween. October 24th, 1 week before Halloween. A young local teenager named Daniela hated Halloween, seeing it nothing as a holiday where kids just go and collect candy from people when their parents won't take them to the candy store. Seeing children coming out of stores, buying Halloween costumes, all excited for the big night. Then, Daniela sees a child in a little devil costume. The little devil child goes up to her holding up a bag. She then says to her boy, "Kid, Halloween isn't for another week. And if you do come to my house, don't go expecting candy. I don't do treats." The little devil child said, "Treat? No, no treat. Go away, little pipsqueak," she said. The little devil child then said, "I don't like people that won't give me a treat. Looks like we will have to give her a trick." As little treat turns around and sees Trick, a taller person wearing a skeleton mask. Then, 1 week later, Daniela leaves school. Her friends say, "What are you doing tonight?" "Oh, I'm not doing anything. You know I don't like this time of year." "God, you're such a Scrooge when it comes to Halloween, Daniela," one of her friends said. "Yeah, well, I'll see you tomorrow, whatever." She then heads home. As she walks home, she sees Treat again, standing in his little devil costume. This time a taller man with him. The taller man, now dressed with a clown mask on and a tall, long coat and a hood. She then says, "Hey, if this is your kid, tell him to get lost. I'm not interested." She then heads home, keeping the lights off and watching television in the dark. She doesn't pay attention to kids knocking on the door. Her parents then say, "It's dark in here." "Yeah, well, I don't want the kids knocking." "Look, it won't hurt for you to just leave some candy out on a bowl on the porch, okay? Anyway, me and your mother are off to that party. We should be back around midnight." "Okay," said Daniela. Her parents left a bowl of candy by the porch, and Daniela continued to watch movies in the dark until she heard someone or something in the house. She calls out asking who's there. Then a croaky voice. She hears the words, "Hello." It's then revealed to be a boy. She goes, "Oh, Trevor, you asshole. You know I don't like being tricked." "Yeah, well, you're not really one for the treats. Or do you want a treat?" "Shut up and apologize." They then start to make out on the couch until a knock is heard. Ignoring it, the knock is heard again. She then says, "The candy is on the porch." Her boyfriend Trevor saying, "It's after 9. Shouldn't the kids be asleep by now or in bed?" "I don't know." She looks out the window and sees Treat in his little devil costume. She then says, "Oh, it's that little freak again. Just ignore him." She then hears his voice call out saying, "Trick or treat." She says to him, "Get lost. There's candy on the porch." "Trick or treat," he said again in a more angry little voice. She then opens the door and tells him to go away. And where is his parents? Then she slams the door in his face. There, Treat turns around and says, "Well, we gave her one last chance, Trick. Looks like it's time for you to do your part." Standing silently in his clown mask, he then says, "Are you going to change your mask again?" Trick shakes his head, and he then makes his way to the house. Next thing, Daniela and Trevor are starting to get physical, starting to kiss and cuddle on the couch. Daniela takes off her top, and then as they're about to engage in intercourse, Trevor has a hook rammed through his stomach. Daniela screaming and looking in horror, she starts to run, and then, as she manages to unlock the door, Trick grabs her by the shoulder and drags her back in, where she runs into the kitchen and gets a knife. Trick looks there standing in his clown mask, looking at her, screaming and begging for him to not kill. She then collapses to the ground. She then sees Treat again in his little devil costume, and he says, "You should have given me a treat." Treat then takes off his little devil mask, revealing that he is not a child, but a dwarf. And he has his whole face modified. A devil features tattooed all over his face with horn implants. Trick then takes off his clown mask, revealing his face to be tattooed like a clown. Also, he then has his skull mask and places that on Daniela's head. Treat then says, "That's what you're about to become. Dead." Later that evening at midnight, Daniela's parents return home, seeing the television on static. Then, noticing her clothes are laid out on the floor. Her father then says, "God damn it, I bet she's got that Trevor boy over." Turn the light on, it's dark in here. They then turn the lights on, and are then horrified to find blood around the house, thinking, what the hell is going on in here? Then, as they walk into the kitchen, they are horrified to then find Trevor's body slumped on a chair in the kitchen table. And then blood drops from the ceiling. The parents look up in horror and find Daniela dead and impaled on the ceiling. She then screams in horror. Later on the news, it is reported that they were both murdered, and that the killer or killers is still at large. Trick and Treat are sat in a 24-hour diner, watching the report on the television. The waitress goes up to them and says, "Terrible, isn't it? Halloween night, worst time for a murder to happen." The duo sit by the booth and say, "Yes, it's terrible to get tricked. But of course, when you do a nice treat, you're very unlikely to get tricked. So where did you two come from?" "It's been an eventful evening for us. You see, we love Halloween." "Does the tall one talk?" "No, he does not. But he too enjoys the holiday of horrors." "Say, let me ask you something," said Treat. "What is that?" said the waitress. "Trick or treat." Did you enjoy that story? Did you learn a valuable lesson about the spirit of Halloween? Well, let us carry on now with our second story of this edition. And this one is another installment in the Father Pumpkin series. Now, be sure that you have seen or heard the other three before from our last three specials. This one is Father Pumpkin, Unhappy Halloween. Father Pumpkin had met his demise, as he was none other than mush and pumpkin juice, until a hag came along and took out a seed from his remains, then opening a gateway to Halloween Town she returned, where this witch then went to a pumpkin patch. There, surrounded with a coven of her own witches, she planted the seed in the patch, and with a simple drop of water and a potion, the witches made an enchantment so that Father Pumpkin would grow back. 1 year later, the pumpkin is almost grown, and the witches return. One of the witches say, "It has been a difficult year since our father and Lord of Halloween was killed. Yes, but this time on Halloween, we shall make sure that it is not a happy one for the children. It is time, my sisters, The witches gathered round the pumpkin and began to make incantations, carving a face into the pumpkin and lighting a candle. They performed a spell, calling upon him to rise. The demonic presence was summoned and entered the pumpkin. Then Father Pumpkin had risen from the soil, reborn once again. The witches then give him a trench coat and they say, "Father Pumpkin, you are reborn." "Yes, witches, I am. It has been almost a year. I thank you." "What is the date?" The witches say it is October 30th, and the Halloween season is near. "Good," said Father Pumpkin. "Tomorrow night, we shall make sure this is an unhappy Halloween." Halloween, October 31st. Children go house to house in their costumes, trick-or-treating, collecting candy from people who are in the full Halloween spirit. The witches fly over the small town and go to another nearby town where everyone is in the full spirit of Halloween. Father Pumpkin is ready, and he then says, "Good young children." At the pumpkin patch, Father Pumpkin sees so many different pumpkins and heads saying, "Soon, my brothers, you will rise." "So you planned this, did you, sisters?" The old hag then said to Father Pumpkin, "Yes, we believe through our magic and hypnotic control, this broadcast will consume all the children in costume." "And what of the adults?" said Father Pumpkin. "If the adults are in costume, they will be part of it too. Of course, I need the souls of children this time. Yes, they leave me their candy sometimes so that I can consume it. But no one has any fear anymore, no belief. I must bring that back. It will be a trick for them, but a treat for me." As the evening dies down and all the children go home, the broadcast is heard saying, "Hey, hey, hey, kids, it is almost time for the Halloween treats of tricks. Be sure to be in your costumes and get ready." The broadcast then begins, where Father Pumpkin is sat at a desk at the television studio. Everyone, the crew and the cameramen, are under control by the witches and Father Pumpkin. Father Pumpkin then welcomes. "Welcome all, boys, girls, men, women, monsters around. Happy Halloween. I am your host, Father Pumpkin, and you are here for the big Halloween marathon, the tricks of treats. But of course, Father Pumpkin, I believe I'm so sorry, but I have lied to you all. Yes, you have your candy. Now, baby, Father Pumpkin then lights his eyes bright, saying to the children, "Feed on your candy, children, feed!" In a trance, the children consume all of their candy, Father Pumpkin feeling their presence getting stronger, whilst parents at home were telling their children to not eat and be greedy, or they will be sick. Then Father Pumpkin says, "Parents, leave your children be." All guardians step back and begin to witness hell. Father Pumpkin lights up once more as the coven of witches chant an enchantment that links the television sets around the country who are watching. Then all the children begin to feel strange. They then turn into the monster of what their costume is representing. Children dressed as vampires become vampires, werewolves, werewolves, witches, witches, and you get the idea. Then Father Pumpkin then says, "On this Halloween night, it is my happy one, but for those who are about to suffer, unhappy Halloween all. Now, children, be the little terrors that you are, and we can make Halloween last forever." Halloween then becomes a dark night of evil monsters around the world. Then, as midnight approaches, Father Pumpkin then says on the broadcast, "Midnight is upon us. Halloween is drawing to a close, but come. A portal will open for you all, and you will enter my dimension where you can live in Halloween Town, where Halloween is forever." The children then see the portals appear, and they go inside. As for Father Pumpkin, he enters his realm, and there, with his magic, summons pumpkins around pumpkin patches as they come to life and enter the realm of Halloween. Father Pumpkin then returns back to Halloween Town and then says, "Let us celebrate, for we have made the ultimate Halloween success. And next year we will get more children, and more tricks of the treats." The next day, November 1st, reported on the news that a strange, bizarre case occurred where all the children had attacked parents and guardians and those not in costume, believing it to be some sick prank or some strange phenomenon it is not explained. But with all the whereabouts of every child and every person wearing a costume on the night of Halloween, they advise people on next Halloween, be cautious, because the monsters may be real. Did you enjoy that tale? Did you enjoy both our stories in this Halloween special? I hope you did. Well, that is all we have time for in this one. So, I would like to bid you a happy Halloween. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and to share with your friends, and to feel free to subscribe to the official Random Horror YouTube channel if you haven't already. And of course, all the social media links are linked down below. I have been your host, the Iron Phantom, and this has been the Iron Phantom's Black Book Halloween Special. I will see you at Christmas. Until then, don't have nightmares.